Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Dental Cafe. So today we are going to discuss about the steps in fabrication of custom tray or secondary tray for completely edentulous cases. Video related to material used in fabrication of record bases was already discussed. I'll share the link in the starting of this video. Okay, then let's begin the video. So, steps in fabrication of custom tray for completely edentulous cases. We have a various steps in the fabrication. First one is the block out the undercuts and then mark the stress bearing and the stress relieving area on cast, and then apply relief wax over non-stress bearing area, and then mark the tray outline on cast at least 2 mm short of sulcus depth. This 2 mm short is because we left this area for the border molding. And then adapt either autopolymerizing resin or light activated resin, whatever is available. And then we'll add the tray handle and then finish and polish the tray. So begin with the first step, block out the undercut. First of all, what is block out wax? To allow tray removal from the diagnostic cast, all excessive undercuts and tissue irregularities present on the diagnostic cast are minimally relieved or blocked out using a base plate wax, and this is we call block out wax. Word, basically we are using a wax, whether it is a base plate wax or any kind of wax, just to relieve the undercut. Because what happens if undercuts are not relieved and you are fabricating a custom tray, there is a chances of distortion of impression at the time of removal of tray. So we just relieve that undercut so that we can easily remove the tray after fabrication without distorting the cast. So the most common undercut require block out in maxilla is it is on the labial aspect of the maxillary cast. Look at the figure. On the labial surface, most commonly we have a undercut in the maxilla on the labial surface. So it needs to be block out. Otherwise, the ridge will be break at the time of removal of the tray. What is the most common undercut required to block out in mandible? In mandible, we have a distolingual and the retromolar hyoid area of the mandibular cast. Look at the figure. We have a retromylohyoid area, and anterior to it we have a distolingual area. These are most common undercut needs to be block out in the mandible before fabrication of custom tray or special tray. Second step is to mark the stress bearing and the relieving area. So what is non-stress bearing or relieving area of maxilla? So in maxilla we have a non-stress bearing areas are the rugas and the incisive foramen. Look at the figure. The area which is marked in red are the incisive foramen and the rugas. We have to relieve this area. How we will relieve these areas, I will tell you later on. Previously it was relieving or non-stress bearing area. Now the stress bearing areas of maxilla which is capable of taking stress. So we have a crest and the slope of the maxillary arch are the primary and the secondary stress bearing area. As you can see in the figure, the area which is marked in the red is the primary and the secondary stress bearing area. Basically the crest and the slope of the ridge are the stress bearing area in the maxilla, and incisive foramen and the rugas are the non-stress bearing, or we can say the relieving area, the area which we have to relieve. Non-stress bearing area of the mandible. So non-stress bearing area of mandibular arch is the crest of the residual alveolar ridge. जो हमारा crest है ridge का, that is the non-stress bearing area. The stress bearing area of the mandible. So the buccal shelf area and the slope of the mandibular ridge are the primary and the secondary stress bearing area. As you can see in the figure, we have a buccal shelf area and the slope, not the crest. Crest is the relieving area. So the slope of the mandibular arch is a secondary stress bearing area. The third point in the fabrication of the custom tray is the relief wax. we have to apply the relief wax. And in which area we are going to apply a relief wax? Let's see. For what is relief wax? When we are making an impression, there should be no tray contact in the area that are non-stress bearing area. Okay, we are going to relieve the area which are not capable of taking the stress. To create this effect, the relief chamber should be present in the tray in these area. So we'll prevent the non-stress bearing area to take a stress. So we have to relieve that area in the tray. And the relief, how we'll create a relief chamber in the tray? Relief chamber is created by applying a base plate wax over the all non-stress bearing area of the diagnostic cast prior to fabrication of custom tray. This is we called relief wax. Try to understand. Look at the figure. As we know, incisive papilla and the rugas are the non-stress bearing area. So minimal or no pressure is applied on the non-stress bearing area because these area cannot tolerate the functional load. Apply a base plate wax on the incisive papilla and the rugas area, and light pressure is applied on the stress bearing area because they can tolerate the functional load. So we will not apply a relief wax on stress bearing area because they are capable of taking the load. We'll only apply a relief wax on non-stress bearing area or the relieving area. As you can see in the figure, relief wax has been properly positioned over the non-stress bearing area. This pink color wax is the base plate wax. We'll use this wax to relieve the area on which pressure is not applied. In mandible, where we have to apply a base plate wax or relief wax is attached to the mandibular arch over the non-stress bearing area. So what is the non-stress bearing area in the mandible? In mandible, we have the crest of the alveolar ridge is the non-stress bearing area. So we have to apply the wax over the non-stress bearing area. And relief wax is 4 mm short of sulcus depth in case of both, in case of mandible and in case of maxilla. The reason why relief wax is 4 mm short of sulcus depth, I'll tell you in the later video. Fourth point is the mark the tray outline on the cast 2 mm short of the sulcus depth. Look at the figure. We have a spacer wax or a relief wax which is 4 mm short of sulcus. It is 4 mm short of sulcus so that we have a 4 mm space for the tray and the border molding material. Next we have a record base which is 2 mm short of sulcus. It is 2 mm short of sulcus because we need 2 mm space for the border molding. And then we have left a 2 mm space is for green sticky wax during the border molding. That is why spacer wax is 4 mm short of sulcus. Custom tray is 2 mm short of sulcus because we have to left 2 mm space for the green stick compound during border molding. Now the last step is to adapt the autopolymerizing or light activated resin to the cast for the fabrication of custom tray, and this point we will discuss in the next video in the part 2. And I hope this video is helpful for you. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest update.